Everybody, welcome to Storm Talk. Brian Good here. Let's get right into Eclipse Notes. We got a lot to cover today. Today's fact, it's cute, it's sweet. The saying goes for Kentucky's darkest day when we're talking about eclipses. On eclipse viewing expeditions, this phenomenon is frequently accompanied by a marriage proposal. Isn't that cute? Hopefully, you may have something like that planned this year. Maybe not. Maybe it's a touchy subject. I don't know. Anyway, don't forget, you can get your eclipse glasses. You can't use your sunglasses. You can't look at the sun for the solar eclipse here in Wave Country. You got to have solar glasses, and we're going to be giving away some at Wave 3 News Day at the State Fair this year, Saturday the 19th in the South Wing, while supplies last, because these glasses are flying off like crazy, so you get there early to get them, okay? And be careful what you buy online. Make sure they're approved solar glasses. There are a lot of fake ones circulating, and that is dangerous. All right, weather-wise, let's talk about the setup today. We don't have as much cloud cover as we did yesterday at this time, but it won't take long. We're going to get the cumulus to build back in once again. The main show is still the actual cold front that is well to our west across portions of Iowa into Kansas City. If you look here, you can almost see the spin behind the banner there. That's the low itself. The low is going to track right into here. So the core of the strongest winds are always going to be closest to that low pressure. And so the overall severe threat is mainly going to be in that path across the Great Lakes into New England. Our issue is that some of those winds can extend down from the low a bit, and that's the reason why our severe threat is not as great with this setup the next 24 hours, but it still can cause some severe potential or maybe some wind damage. So because of that iffiness, we've got to at least make sure we cover it and make sure everybody's aware of it. All right. So first off, the risk today: slight risk across Illinois, Chicagoland. Slight or marginal extends outward from that. We'll explain why in a second. And then tomorrow, as the front moves in and the heating of the day, the timing of that matches up. It looks to be basically I-65 east. And then Saturday, everybody's quiet except for areas to the west. You start to see that marginal sneaking back in. That's our next wave of energy we'll talk about in a minute. First off, speaking of energy, for this afternoon, I was doing some of the analysis. This is only going out to about 3 o'clock this afternoon. The downdraft cape is going up, so a lot of instability, especially on either side of the Ohio River beginning to build. Look at the buildup in Illinois. Those thunderstorms could produce some gusty winds. It's certainly we're going to see a lot of development here across southeast Illinois, or Iowa, heading toward Chicago later today. So certainly more prime to our west for a damaging wind threat. Better shear too, and there's not a lot of shear even for them, but there's enough. For us, we don't have a lot of wind shear aloft or tailpipe for these thunderstorms to keep going for hours on end. So just like yesterday, they form, they collapse, the next one forms, it collapses, and then just kind of, if you watched the radar yesterday, you saw how it went, kind of all over the place. Today, it's the same deal. Instability, moisture, they'll be random. So let's look at a couple of high-res models. First off, here is the HRRR model between now and 1 o'clock. We're quiet. But you see this starting the uptick there on the last frame. Here we go as we head into the afternoon. Now, what I think the HRRR is doing, there is the PWATS, precipitable water, is higher in southern Kentucky. So there's more moisture in the air to our south and actually, frankly, to the north. So it's betting on the activity will start there, and then you'll see it kind of build. The bumper car idea, they play off each other and build up to the north toward the Ohio River by the 6 o'clock time period. That's possible, but that's the HRRR model's idea, and then they fade out, but keep an eye on that activity in Illinois. We'll come back to that in a second. Here is the RPM model. Same deal. You start to see it build up. Last frame at 1 o'clock. And then here they go. Begin to pop. It's got a similar idea. Southern Kentucky. But really, it's going to be either side of the river. They're going to be very random today, guys. That's what I really want to get across. And then they'll fade out at sunset. But the activity in Illinois holds on. Question is, as we head into the overnight, how much of that band... Now, keep in mind, this is way ahead of the actual cold front now. Cold front's right here. So this is getting away from its actual push, which is what the front's doing. So when that happens, they just kind of, they get tired and they run out of steam, basically. So the question is, how quickly are they going to get tired before they get to the Louisville area? We'll have to trend this, but potential is there for some rain in the morning hours before sunrise. And here's the actual front now. As we head toward about 11 o'clock midday, it's right there, moving in Jefferson County. How much of that can we see some heating to power up the thunderstorms? Right now, it looks like it's going to be mainly eastern Kentucky that will see the uptick of thunderstorms. Here are the wind fields. As we approach sunrise, you see that band that approaches. There's not a lot of wind support as it moves in. Instability, just enough for lightning and thunder, maybe some gusty winds. We'll watch that. And then by the afternoon, power up idea. There is some. It's decent for wind energy. Certainly much more prevalent to our north. But the instability really doesn't get going until really the front clears our area. So again, mainly it looks to be east that has more prime. And then Sunday, oh man, Sunday is trending cloudier and wetter. The latest NAMODA is still trying to speed up the rain arrival on Sunday. I'm going to evaluate this. I'm trying to go easy on the rain chances Sunday and go slowly into this, but we may have to ramp it up and increase the arrival time. Sorry, guys. I'll have more on midday on that. Looking ahead, this cool pattern remains with us, but a lot of that's cloud-induced as well across the Ohio Valley. The boundary, we're going to have one come through on Sunday and Monday, but it may stall out across the Tennessee Valley. Then we will see areas of low pressure kind of track along that. So where is that boundary going to be? Is it going to be in Tennessee Valley, or is it going to be closer to Louisville or further to the south? That will depend how wet next week ends up being. But there could be a near daily chance for rain next week, guys, the way this is trending. Stay tuned for updates all next week into that following weekend. Then we look ahead. Here are the ensembles, the GFS. Here's the Euro and Canadian. Looking at the tropics, you can see how the GFS is already building in. We already have a tropical wave. It's looking pretty healthy in Central Atlantic. The GFS brings it in around the 13th, 14th of August into the southeast coast. I wouldn't trust that right now. Just know that's possible. But here's the trend. Here we go on the 18th. You see what the GFS is doing. It brings it into the Carolinas. But you see also the heat shield is building. We don't have that little dip as prevalent in the area. It's kind of lifting out a bit. In fact, when you look at the pressure systems, what appears to be happening around the mid part of the month, we're going to have the Bermuda high out here to the east, another high pressure in the plains, and where there's a gap, this is where anything tropical coming in through the Caribbean or the Gulf of Mexico is going to try to find the weakness in between the two highs, and that is where it will likely try to sneak into the United States. I mention this because it's going to get awful close to eclipse time when some of that activity will be working its way in. I'm not going to say it because I don't want to get upset. But it's not a sure bet. This is just a first snapshot of the idea, but this is not a sign I want to see, really. I like the high pressure building in because I would promise more of a drier forecast. But anytime you get high pressure building in this time of the year, it also is prime for tropics to take advantage of it. So it's a double-edged sword there. All right, that's it for today, guys. I'll see you at midday, and then Kevin and Ryan got you covered for the evening.